forget because I'll get to talking. All right, so that just was an example. I want to show you guys an example of what happens when you are your own boss. Everyone isn't your customer. That's the number one thing I want you to know. Everybody isn't your customer. I remember some customers that I just absolutely had to say, you're not my customer. They asking too many questions. They gonna grill you on price. They gonna take everything, try to take everything away until they get what they want. And they believe that, hey, I'm the customer. I get what I want. That's what they've been taught. But when you own your own business, you can say, you know what? There's more customers. There's a million trillion people in the world. So one customer is not gonna make or break my business. You can say no to people that are, obnoxious. Yeah, that's one of the benefits of being your own boss, man. You can decide who you do business with. You can decide what partnerships that you accrue. You can make those decisions. So, hey, we just had somebody, I just had to say, hey, bro, it ain't going to work because that ain't this type of party. You can't be patient, man. I'm trying to get this thing started. And then, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying, come on, man. Let's do things the right way. So here's the deal, guys. My name is ERGJ. Getting this thing started, ERGJ. I'm a certified financial educator. I was once working for a Fortune 500 company, making about $60,000 a year. I left that job because I made the decision that I was going to stop pursuing money and I was going to pursue purpose. In other words, I was saying that I was more concerned with significance than I was with success, because most people, they define success with how much money that you make. And so I went on the journey to say that, hey, I am more concerned with making an impact in the lives of other people. That is my mission at this point in my life. And we talked about it earlier today. It's called a tipping point. It's where you are no longer focused on the money. You're focused on the mission. Again, let me say that again. It's a point in your life, in your career, where you stop focusing on the money and you start focusing on the mission. And so some of you guys, I'd imagine with this title, you may be at that point. You may be at a job that you hate. You might be trying to figure it all out. What are you going to do next? You might have some ideas that you want to bring to reality. Who knows where you are? And if you want to share where you are right now in your career, in your path as an entrepreneur, whatever it is, you can do that right now. Because I really like to know, who I'm connecting with right now, because I'm going to speak on a couple different things. And I'm really just going to share with you guys some of the things that I see happening now to some of the aspiring entrepreneurs. I'm going to talk about some of my successes and things that I've done to be successful. And success to me is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So each and every day that I make progress towards my ultimate goal, which is to build a school, then I feel like I'm a success. So every day that I make a new contact, every day that I make that I teach a new class, every day that I land a new deal is getting me closer to my goal of building a school. Now, I got a lot of different things about my school that I'm gonna build. I'm not gonna talk about that, but I'm saying I'm a success because I'm making progress towards my worthy ideal. Now, one of the things that I wanted to say, one of the things that came to me over the weekend was like, man, hey, it's a wonderful thing to get to a place where you can be your own boss, because I want you to think about it. If you have a job right now, which is fine, it's okay. A job will help you take care of your lifestyle, but it's what you can do outside of your job that's going to help you build your fortune. Again, let me say that again. Your job, it'll help you take care of your lifestyle, it'll help you make a living, but it's what you can do outside of your job that actually help you to build a fortune. If you think about all of the wealthy people that are here that we see, they actually have businesses, they have real estate, they have assets, they've acquired things over time, and they built things for themselves. And it's called a portfolio, whether it's business or it's assets. Most of the people are, as we know, with the cash flow quadrant, they're on the left side of the quadrant. They're up in the top left corner, right? They're trading time for money. And then we have people that are aspiring entrepreneurs who are still going to be trading time for money, because they're going to quit their job in order to create their own job. And then you're going to have people that's now, once they've been creating their own job for a little while, they start to figure out a whole system thing, and they put systems in place so that the business can run itself. And so the whole goal of being an entrepreneur is not to keep working keep working a job. The whole goal is to get to a point where your business is a system that's running itself. And this is what a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand. So if you have a job right now, if you're working a job, you have a regular 9 to 5 or whatever, an overnight job, whatever it is, you got a job. I want to know who I'm talking to. Who's right now at a place where they have a job, they're ready to, like, really seriously, I'm ready to quit my job, And maybe you have an idea of like something that you can create, some service, some product, some good that you can bring to the marketplace that'll bring value that you can get paid for. And hopefully it can bring income into your household that it can replace your job. So if you have a job right now and you're really like contemplating leaving, just type me in the comments below. Just say me, just say I, something like that. So I kind of know who. I'm not going to ask you what you do or nothing like that. That's kind of personal. But I really want to know who I'm talking to today. Because if I'm talking to all entrepreneurs, then I'm going to go a whole different direction than I'm talking about what you need to do before you quit your job. Because you may have already quit your job. So if that's you and you want to recognize yourself, just put I or me, type that down in the comments below. I really want to know who I'm talking to. So I see we got here Miss Sharon, a wellness coach. Thanks so much for joining. Abdul, man, you've been following for a little bit, man. I appreciate the love, sir. Thanks so much for joining. Dave Pasadiero, is that Italian, brother? I think that is. Yeah, I can't even say that. Fantacasio. I think that's Italian, maybe. Yeah, thanks so much for joining. All right, cool, man. So here's the deal. Again, you can, up in the top left, you can do a quick tweet. If you want to let your followers know that you're here, you can do a quick post to your Facebook, let your Facebook know. All right, so here's the thing, guys. The number one thing that I see wrong, or I see the issue with, when I'm looking at aspiring entrepreneurs is there's one key skill that you absolutely have to have if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur. And if you don't have it, then you got to hire around it. And most people, they're not really in a position where they can hire as soon as they quit their job. They're in a position of work mode, right? They got to find a way to make some income. And the number one key that you have to have is sales. If you do not know how to sell, I don't care how good your product is. I don't care how good your service is. If you have not mastered or have not taken some class, you don't even have to take a class. Because here's the thing about selling. You get sold to every day of your life. The only question is, are you paying attention? Again, you get sold to every day of your life. The question is, are you paying attention? You got to ask yourself, when you went in the mall this weekend, what caused you to buy those shoes or that purse or that briefcase or whatever? Was it just because it was there, or were you sold into the position where you actually purchased something this weekend, whatever it was? I don't care if it was fast food, whatever it is that you bought, you spent your hard-earned money on. Ask yourself, how was I sold to buy that thing? Now, of course, you're going to say, hey, man, I was just hungry. I wanted to eat. Well, true, but there's so many places you could have went to eat. So why did you choose this place over that place? How were you sold? See, here's what a lot of people, they don't do. They don't pay attention to life. And I'm telling you, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to have to start paying attention to these things. Like, what are these companies doing to sell me so that I can use some of these strategies to sell other people? This is what I find. I find people that can bake. I find people that can write books. I find people that create all these products and services. Then the first question I ask is, how many have you sold? If you watch Shark Tank, the first question they ask is, how many have you sold? Because yes, it's a great product, but if no one's buying the product, then it has no value at this point in time in the marketplace. Now, it doesn't mean that they won't buy it later. I got the story of Paulo Coelho, who wrote the book, The Alchemist. It took 25 years before that book started selling. The question is, do you have 25 years to wait before you can start making some income? Because we're talking about before you leave your job and start to want to be your own boss. So many people want to be their own boss. So many people like, hey, man, it's a great idea, like running my own company, doing my own thing, having my own time, having my freedom. That's what they say. I need my time freedom back, right? And that's good. That's good. But what is your strategy and what is your plan? Because here's the thing, guys. Think about your job. If you have a job right now, think about the job that you had or your last job. Think about that right now. What did you do? Okay, I'm not asking you to type it in. If you want to, that's fine. Think about, what did I do? What did I do? What was my last job? Now, you had one thing to do, right? Or probably multitask. You probably, did a couple different things with that job, but you were assigned a task and you were hired for a specific task to complete, whatever that was. Whether you were cooking, whether you was a cook at McDonald's, whatever it was, you were assigned a task. Now, think about that job that you did. And now also think about doing everyone else's job in that company, and now you got to do it for yourself. I really want you to think about this for a second. I was doing one job, and I was getting paid $12, $15, $20 an hour, $30 an hour to do this job. But now I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be my own boss. Now I've got to do everybody's job in order for my business that I'm trying to build to be successful. I got to be the secretary. I got to be the bookkeeper. I got to be the accountant. I got to be the marketer. I got to be the person to follow up with people. I got to be the person to contact people. I got to be the person that generate leads. I got to be the person to get on Blab and Facebook and all this. I got to be a social media expert. I got to be all these different things until I can find people, right, that I can connect with, which is why networking is important, because you start to find people. Like I got Peru here. Me and her work together on some things. So she helps me out in some areas and I help her out in some areas. That's very important. But many people, they don't build their network before they get out and quit their job. They just think that, hey, I got a good idea. I think people are going to buy it, even though ain't nobody bought it yet. I got a good idea, and I think I can sell it, even though people ain't bought it. And I'm going to jump out here. Why? Because people get told the wrong advice. So here's the advice that most people will tell you, right? They'll say, jump, right, and build your wings on the way down. Now, I want to tell you why I think that's the dumbest advice I've ever heard. Because if you're a business, if you're thinking like a business person, how many businesses jump and build their wings on the way down? No, they don't. They plan. They do market research. They do target marketing. They figure out where they can sell their stuff. They do test marketing, pilot programs. Think about how long it takes before your company that you may have worked for, they come up with an idea. And then they go through this long 6 month, a year, 2 year process before they make it official for the whole company to embrace it. That's why it takes so long to get change in the corporation, because they've got a model that works and now they want to implement something new. But before they do implement, they do testing. But yet people will say, jump and build your wings on the way down. Have some gumption. They'll tell you to have ambition. They'll tell you to have courage. Well, I'm telling you, yes, you should have courage, but I'm telling you, don't be stupid. So along with jumping before, building your wings on the way down, what I'm telling you, the advice I'm giving you is look before you leap. That's what companies do. This is what business people do. And you're talking about, hey, I want to go from being an employee to an employer. We got to change your mindset. You got to stop thinking like an employee and thinking like an employer. An employer is not going to jump and build his wings on the way down. No, they absolutely are not. They're going to look before they leap. Okay, we got a great idea. I think that's a good idea. Okay, well, how can I make this idea successful? Okay, let's test this thing and see. So if you got an idea, right? Hey, Jim, how you doing? If you got an idea and you're working a job, but you got an idea that maybe you can create some part-time income from, right? It's an idea right now. It's just, hey, man, I think people are gonna really like this. Well, you got to test it out, man. You got to get it out there and see if people are going to like it. Man, let me tell you something. What I did, to build my business, and I had a conversation with someone earlier today. I built my brand before I built my business. I was 2 years in the game of talking about financial literacy before I ever quit my job. People knew me as the finance guy. People knew me as a retirement specialist before I ever quit my job. So guess what? I had support. I had a village. I had a network that knew what I could offer and bring whenever I decided to bring a product or service. Why? Because they were inundated with financial information for 2 years straight before I ever quit my job. Think about that. 2 years of building your brand before you ever quit your job to build your business. So although I had a business, account, I had a LLC, I'm official, I never did anything with it because I wasn't at a place where I felt like I could sell anything to anyone. But now I'm at a place where no matter what I put out, I'm going to sell it because I built my brand before I built my business. This is what people are not going to take. This is real life business education that we're talking about right now. This ain't stuff they talking about in school. I'm talking about real life experience. I built my business, and I'm not telling you this is the way you got to go. What I'm doing, I'm sharing with you the way that I went. I built my brand before I built my business. So when I walked into my business, I already had customers that were waiting on a product or a service that I could provide. Does that make sense? So if you're sitting at your job right now and you're waiting until you quit your job to start working on your brand, you're wasting time. You got an idea, you got something that you can offer, you got information, education, you've got some resources that you can offer that you can bring to a network, to wherever it is, and you can start doing that right now. If you are a writer, if you are a baker, if you are a blogger, you could be doing that right now, part-time, getting it out there so people can get deal, because it's important that people know you, not how many people you know, but how many people know you. This last week I was out, sick for a little while, so I wasn't able to do as much as I normally do. And people are actually calling me like, man, what's going on? We haven't seen you in a while. Man, you know what? That tells me Hey, who is that? Big Kumar. Thanks so much, man. You get blocked. Holla at you. I'm sorry. You know, we got so many. Anyway, I got distracted for a second. You know, in case y'all don't know, yeah, you can boot people in Blab. This is real easy. Bye-bye. Holla at you. All right. So I had people that were hitting me up like, man, hey, where you been? Now, what does that tell me as an entrepreneur? That tells me that I'm bringing value to the marketplace, that people are expecting me to show up on a consistent basis to bring value into their life. And if I'm bringing value into their life, the thing that I teach kids about money is you exchange value for value. So I'm bringing value into someone's life and they're paying me money in return. Now, for many of you guys that don't know me, you might be your first time looking at me, watching them. I told people, man, you know, I am big on Facebook, right? I've made money on Facebook. I made a lot of money on Facebook because I know how to sell. I know how to speak with people. I know how to communicate. I know how to bring value to their life. And then in return, they'll bring value, which is monetary value, but along with a little inspiration and a connection and building a pipeline of people that are working towards things and working together. We've done this. We built something. It's not just I've got a product or service. I'm building an empire, which is going to help me to further when I get a loan to building my school. Now I'm on Blab. I've made money on Blab. Wow. How? Because I'm bringing value to people's life. And so I'm asking you, if you're an employee right now and you're thinking about becoming an employer, what kind of value are you going to bring to the lives of other people? Now, when I say this, I don't want you to think about what you can bring. When I say this, I want you to think about the value that someone else is going to receive from your product or service. Now, let me clarify this for a second. So whenever I think about my product and service, automatically I think it's the best. It's the hottest thing. It's awesome. Everybody gonna buy it, right? But if I haven't learned how to sell it, then I haven't learned how to sell the value that it might bring in someone else's life. So how can I really say, okay, this product or this service, it's worth $300 when I haven't learned how to sell on a $300 level? I don't think y'all got me. I really don't think you got me. If I got a product or service I want to sell for $300 that I haven't learned how to sell at a $300 level, then how can I expect to get $300 for it? Because people don't buy. It's not about the product or service. It's not about the price. It's about how you sell. It's about how you present what you have. I know people that have subpar stuff, but they know how to sell. They know how to connect with people. And so here's the deal, man. The reason why I started this day, because I was so pissed off. Because every time I go on Facebook, all I see is flyer after flyer after flyer after flyer after flyer. And I'm like, guys, you guys do not understand why you're not being successful, because flyers don't sell people. All the flyer is an oversized business card. And you know what I think about business cards? Now, matter of fact, here's what I'm going to tell you. In my business, I've never given out a business card. Matter of fact, I hardly ever give out my website. Well, how in the world do I make money? See, most of us, we're focused on all of these tangible things and building up this sales funnel, getting these lead pages, trying to put things on autopilot, but we have yet to get in touch or tap into a customer. And how do you do that? You got to tap into their heart. If you cannot tap into their heart, you cannot make them feel like you're bringing value into their life, and all they're going to get is an email from you. Man, how are you expecting to, how are you expecting to build that pipeline of a fan base, of a loyalty base? The other problem that I see is I see a lot of people, especially on social media, they have a whole bunch of fans, but don't have no customers. You got 20,000 people following, not one of them bought anything from you. Now, isn't that crazy? They love your stuff. They love you, the way you make them laugh and all this stuff, but you have not learned how to turn any of those fans into customers. You haven't learned the art of sales. You get me? I got 20,000 fans, but I don't have no customers. So every time I put a product or service out and I say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm selling, a bottle today. Oh, when did you start selling a bottle? Wrong branding. See, you branding for popularity. You're not branding for profit. Let me say that again. I think somebody just got that. You're branding for popularity. You're not branding for profit. And I'm going to tell you this, guys, businesses are not in business just to be popular. Businesses are in businesses so they can make a profit. Why? Because when they make a profit, they can hire more people, they can expand, they can do more business. And so what we're talking about today is shifting your mind from being an employee who wants fans to being an employer who wants customers. Man, I'm telling you guys, I feel like I'm on fire, man. It's only 4:18. I only got 18 minutes into this thing. So, guys, what I'm saying, man, is like if you are, I'm trying to share some things with you for you to think about and consider as you are trying to build up this new thing that you got going on. You know, I see a lot of life coaches, things like that. You're trying to, you know, especially if you're a life coach, you got to connect with people. You know, a flyer is not going to do it. A flyer is going to let people know that you're in business, but a flyer is not going to get people to say, I want to do business with you. So you got to figure out, man, what can I do to connect with people so people say that I want to do business with you? Because the people that follow me, they say, I want to do business with you. Matter of fact, I had somebody hit me up yesterday. If I talked about, because I talk about a retirement review, right? And so they hit me up and say, hey, you know, this company is trying to get me to do, you know, services with them. They charge me $2,000 a watt, whatever the case may be, right? Now I got to ask myself, why did they hit me up for advice? Yeah, because I've been bringing value into their life. They value my opinion. Now I just turned her question of doing business with someone else and paying them $2,000 into my customer, which is going to bring money into my household. How did I do that? I realized she was asking me a question because I bring value. I answered that question, and I turned that question into an opportunity to sell. Hey, I want to pay $2,000. Why? Because I can teach you what you need to learn so you can do it on yourself, and I can do it at a fraction of the cost. You've been following my page for a while. You know what I bring. Why don't we set up an appointment to talk? How many people are actually asking people for the business? Some people have a hard time doing that. They think that sales is a very difficult process. Like, oh, I don't want to ask them for their business. They're going to feel like I'm trying to sell them. Hey, listen, you got a product or service that's going to benefit them. Talk about it. I know too many people that got businesses that nobody know about. What kind of stuff is that? You on Facebook all day. You ain't never told nobody about what you do because you want to feel like it's private. But I guarantee you that McDonald's is going to shoot you a message every time they get a chance. I guarantee you that Chick-fil-A is going to shoot you a message every time they get a chance. They're going to say, oh, we in a private business. We only sell to certain people. No, they sell to everybody that's buying. Now, I will say this. Again, as an entrepreneur, I can choose my customers. I don't have to take on every customer. Every customer is not my customer. If I get that bad vibe that, hey, if I sell you or we do business together and then you're going to be always coming back nagging me, I don't got time for that. There's plenty more fish in the pond. That's one of the things that as a small business owner and things like that, I can choose not to do business with you. Hey, it just ain't going to work. Matter of fact, I've given the stuff away for free to people that I knew were going to be a headache later on down the line. Hey, what's going on, Evan? I got another Evan. Hey, it's only room for one Evan, so I'm going to call you something else. I can't. It's hard for me to talk to an Evan because it's like I'm talking to myself. Like I'm saying, hey, Evan, and that's my name. So I'm about to call you Files or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so hey, Jim, so there we go. Call me ERGJ. We'll call you Evan. I'll call you ERGJ. And you never had that issue with what? Oh yeah, I know that's right. Nobody knows your name. Nobody got your name. So anyway, so what I'm talking about. So here's the deal, guys. If you got questions or you got some things that maybe you're dealing with right now. No. Evan is a presidential name, so remember that. But you can call me ERGJ. That's what I go by. If you got some questions, you can type them in and I'll try to get to them. So what we're talking about today is so you want to be your own boss. So I wanted to share some things because I think that there's misinformation out there. I think that there's misadvice out there, especially for the people that are on the verge of, I hate my job. I got to do something different. I'm thinking about all of these different ideas, things that I can do, value that I can bring to the marketplace. But now how do I do that? And that's the gap, right? That's the gap between, hey, I'm at a place where I get paid no matter how hard I work, right? Most people are at a job that they hate, right? And they're saying, hey, I work hard enough so I don't get fired and they pay me just enough so I don't quit, right? And I was in a position where I was like, I don't want to live like that. I was in a position where I said that, hey, should I wait to get fired or should I just quit? That's really where I was at. Matter of fact, when I do voice recordings. That's how I journal. I do voice recordings. I'm a Virgo. I do voice recordings. And so when I listened to my recording from May of 2014, I listened. It was like I was telling myself, I'm only going to be here for a year. I was telling myself in my recording, this is my last year at my job. And guess what? I quit in April of 2015. Why? I had created some things. I've created some products. I've created some services. I made some connections. I had built my brand for 2 years prior to me quitting my job, right? Those are the things that I was doing Not necessarily, I wouldn't even say that I was doing it deliberately. I was doing it because that was my passion. My passion is to teach people about money. My passion is to teach kids to make sure that they don't have the I wish syndrome. I wish someone had talked to me about investments when I was 5 years old. I wish someone had taught me about real estate when I was 10. I wish that someone had invested for me when I was 13. I wish that my grandparents, all of these I wishes, I wanted to kill the I wish syndrome. That's what I'm passionate about. I don't want to see another generation go by not understanding what the wealthy people do. So that's what I do. So I was posting, I was talking to people, I was setting up connections, I was doing shows, I was everything. For 2 years straight, I built my brand so people know ERGJ, you want to talk about finances, you want to talk about money, that's where you go. So guess what? When I walked into my business, when I started to offer products and services, when I started to offer classes about the stock market, when I started to offer classes to the kids about financial literacy, when I did all that, when I became a certified financial educator, when I quit my job, I already had customers that were waiting on my products and services to come out. When I write a book, if I ever do that, because I'm not really a writer, but it seems like it's coming, I'm going to have people waiting to buy my book. Why? You guys are here on Blab. You're listening to my passion. You listen to how I think, and you might be interested in what I got to say. But I'm just saying, what do you say? Yeah, that's a great question. So Jim just asked a great question. He said he always asks people, what are you doing now that people are paying you to do? See, many of you guys have products and services right now that you're doing and you're giving away for free, not realizing that there's a value that you could be charging people for. For example, I had a lady, matter of fact, a good friend of mine I talked to today. She's still working. She's still trying to, get to that place where she can get stable again. She actually has a class that teaches people how to improve their LinkedIn profile. And I was like, oh, great, man. Now I want you guys to understand. I'm gonna tell this story and I'm gonna give it away for free today. But know that if you want to talk to me personally, guess what? You can hire me. I can walk you through the process of how to generate profit, how to take your business to the next level, your ideal. It's called refining your idea. Many of us have ideas, but the problem is we don't present them to people that can help us refine those ideas and say, hey, here's what works. Because here's what I know. I know people. For example, I don't do many long blogs on Facebook because I realize people aren't going to read past about 5 lines. So I only put about 4 lines of a thought there and people read it, click it, like it, and share it. But if I put a long 2-page paragraph there, it ain't happening. People don't like to read. People like to watch. That's why TV is so important. That's why Blab is so important. When I started doing my radio show, I said, man, people aren't tuning in to my radio show because they ain't really there. They don't really want to just click in and listen. They want to see live. They want to feel the energy. They want to see your facial expressions. They want to know that you're real. That's why I love Blab, because this is my element. So here's the thing. I want to ask you right now, and I took my mom out to lunch today. Yeah, I can do that. Why? Because I own my own time. I took my mom out for lunch today, and I was talking to her. I said, here's the question I want each and every one of you to answer for me right now in the comments below. So if you here and you watching, this is your time to answer this question. What's your element? Again, what is your element? See, I want you to recognize your strength, which is what is your element. Now, what do I mean by that? I've got someone that I'm working with right now who is trying to do presentations, but they are horrible on camera. They have no personality. They're bland, they're boring, and they wonder why people aren't signing up for something that they're giving away for free, because it ain't about the price. You got to find a way to tap into the emotion of people. If you want to sell them, if you want to do business with them, they got to like you. They got to trust you. They got to know you, and that's built over time. So my question for you today, what is your element? Now, when I say what is your element, you got to think about, man, when I do this, I'm on fire. When I do this, I'm in the zone. For example, LeBron James, his element is on the basketball court, right? Serena Williams, her element is on the tennis court. I want to know, what is your element? Is your element when you're writing? Is that when you get that burning desire to just write? You can just spit it out. What is your element? Because I'm going to tell you, when you realize and you recognize, you already know what it is. You just haven't tapped into it yet. You just haven't had someone talk to you the way that I'm talking to you today, so you can really say, okay, man, this is my element. See, Solutions Turk, you're gonna get me off topic, man. You always messing with me. All right. So my question to you is, what is your element? And if you have a hard time answering that, right, if you have a hard time responding to that, then that's something that you need to be thinking about. If you really want to be successful, if you really want to take your business into overdrive, you really need to figure, no, that's cool. We go way back. You really need to, I would really advise you to either respond, or if you can't respond, then really think about, what is my element? What element am I on fire for? Because every element is your element. And that's what you have to understand if you're going to be an entrepreneur, because you got to do everything. Unfortunately, from the beginning, starting out, until you get someone like Solutions starting to help you build systems around your business. But starting out, you pretty much got to do a lot of stuff. And everything that you got to do isn't your element. Like, I hate organizing. I hate bookkeeping. And it's now, guess what? It's tax time. And that ain't my element. But I got a tax advisor. So, but I still got to take them some stuff. I got to bring them some paperwork, which I didn't do a good job in 2015 of taking care of. And I'm going to have to pay probably a lot more tax than I have to pay. But that's okay. It's a learning experience. But what is your element? See, my element is here. My element is in person. My element is on camera, not even on camera. My element is in front of people where they can hear and express and feel my passion. See, if I'm talking about love and relationship, I'm not. Y'all want to talk about racism? Y'all want to talk about money? All right, you make sure that I'm there. So we'll talk about money all day long. So what is your element? My element isn't writing books. My element is speaking. So if I do a book, it's going to be a voice book. It's going to be an audio book. And maybe that'll be transcribed. I'm not going to write it. I can tell you that. I'll speak it out. It'll come out and I'll have somebody organize it. I can tell you that. But my element is talking to people. My element is connecting people. I realized at a young age that I was the master middleman. I could connect people all over the world, which is what I do. Many people that are here right now are here because I connected them to other people to help them to success. That's why I'm a coach. That's what I do. That makes sense? All right. So some people say writing and supporting people are my elements. That's why I created a publishing company. See, that makes sense. And publish a magazine. So she found her element, which was writing and supporting people. She stays in her lane, and that caused her to create a product or service around her element. All right. So he said support system and quality control. They're not my main, but that's not my main business. Peru, we talked about that. So Peru is somewhere I've been working with. And the thing that you can do, your systems and your quality control, you can actually use that element around your business. You know what I mean? Your business, that let me actually respond to your comment, but that's not your main business. The reality is that is your main business. You're just not seeing it the right way. So yes, you have a product or service that you offer to the public, but your main business, your main element is support systems and quality control. So I would figure that in your business, your support system and your quality control is bar none, hands down. Now you might need some help in some other areas. You might need some help in sales. You might need some help in marketing. You might need some help in innovation. That's fine. But as long as you recognize what your element is, then you can say, hey, here's where my business is going to be phenomenal from me. Now, in order for me to take my business to the next level in these other areas, I need to surround myself with people whose element is different than mine, and they can add value to my business so we can help my business grow. It's not about your product. It's not about what you sell. That's one thing. People got to, if you think about it, right, for example, right, if I go to an Italian restaurant, I went to one today. That's why I'm thinking about Italian. I don't even like Italian, but I went to an Italian restaurant. I don't really like pasta. Let me not say I don't like Italian, but if I went to an Italian restaurant, what distinguishes one Italian restaurant from the other? It's not the menu. It's not the pasta. It's not the sauce. It's the service. If one Italian like today, the waitress, I was like, man, she is bugging me. Every time she come over 5 minutes, like, you need anything else? You want to check? Listen, can you just leave for 10 minutes? Can't you see we trying to talk? You know what I'm saying? You got to recognize your customer. And here's the deal. I recognize people. I recognize, man, okay, this is not a person that's really trying to receive what I'm saying, so I back off. Then I reckon, this is a person that's really engaged, so I dive in. You got to recognize this stuff. It's called the art of communication. That's all that selling is. But I recognize that. I was like, man, I don't even want to come back here just because of you. Your service is, I know you're trying to do a good job, but it's really annoying because we didn't come here really just to eat. We came here to do business, and you just keep coming. Like, just come back when my glass is empty. You need to refill it. So anyway. All right. So I'm sorry. I got off topic, but I'm thinking about it because the difference between a restaurant that you might go to, whatever it is that you like, whatever your favorite restaurant is, it's not just because of the food. It's not just because of the price. It's because of the service. It's because of the service. They treat you well. They make you feel like you're at home. They make you feel like they want you to continue to come back, not just for your money. They come back. You come back because they know you by name. You come back because they always have your nice music on. You come back because they always have quality service. If they had bad service, I guarantee you would stop going. If they changed something and they didn't let you know, you would probably miscommunication. You would probably be like, man. Matter of fact, I had this business I used to love to go to, Spawn Divots. Man, my absolute favorite restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia, Spawn Divots, seafood restaurant. I loved it. One day they just upped and changed everything. They changed their prices. They changed the way they do business and didn't inform anybody. So when I went in there, it was all new. I'm like, what is this? And it was terrible. It went from being my absolute favorite restaurant to a place I don't even go to no more because they got new management. They got a new style of new way of doing business. And it's just not my cup of tea. It was about the service. That makes sense? So anyway, all right. So I was talking about understanding your element, because once you can understand your element, what is your element? That is what you can leverage into profitability. When you're going from being an employee to an employer, again, I'm talking about the stage of going from being an I to an S, being employed. I mean, E to S, being employed to being self-employed. Now, of course, to get from being self-employed to being a business owner, you're going to need people like Solutions Turkey in your camp, people that can help you transform what you do into a system that can be self-running, that can run and operate no matter whether you're there or not. Now, you might choose to be there because you love what you do, but you don't have to be there in order to make sure that it continues to run and operate. That's called a system. But most people are in a position where they're going to be going from an employee to a sole proprietor or an entrepreneur, which means that you no longer work for someone for a job. You've created your own job. And this job at this point in time means that you're doing all of the jobs that in a sense where you only used to do one job. You used to just be an analyst. You used to be just a cook, but now you're the cook, the analyst, the forecaster, you're the supervisor, you're the hands-on deck person, you're the bookkeeper, you're the accountant, you're the marketer, all of that stuff. That's what being an entrepreneur at first, that's what it's about. It's you go into this place where you're doing everything. Matter of fact, if you looked at my resume now, man, I'm a video engineer. I've learned how to do graphics. I've learned all this stuff that I had to learn on my own, because guess what? I wasn't going to pay everybody to do this stuff. I know how to do my own logos. I know how to do my own business cards if I ever want to do it. I know all this stuff now that I had to take it upon myself if I wanted to get it out. I got to find a way to get it out, and you have to push yourself to learn these things, and you'd be like, man, at first I didn't know how to do edit a video. Now, just like that, I've been doing it for a minute, but when I left my job, I didn't know how to do that stuff. I didn't know that I needed to know how to do that stuff, and these are things you have to consider. Like, man, what are the things that I'm going to have to do as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, that I don't have to do now? Have I ever sold anything in my life? Or have I always been a customer service person? These are things you got to think about. So what is your element? So Jim, you said your personal mission statement, helping people to get better place in life through education, celebrity, and charity. That's great, but that's your mission statement. But what's your element? What ways do you, you said speaking and teaching. Okay, I'm sorry. I see that. Speaking and teaching. I'm sorry, I see that. I'm trying to scroll down and get these questions. Or get these responses. Yes, so pursue your strengths, find other people to sell your weaknesses. Yes, selling is about helping people. Look at that. Sounds like you took my training. It's about helping people solve their pain. It's helping people to address their pain. And so, again, what really got me into talking about this today is because I see so many people that want to jump. They want to jump off the cliff. They've heard people say it, jump and build your wings on the way down. They want to just go and say, you know what? Forget this guaranteed income that I got, not even guaranteed. Forget this income, this regular income that I have coming in. And matter of fact, I would say, and this is very powerful, if you haven't learned how to manage your paycheck, what makes you think that you're going to be able to manage a business, finances? You haven't even learned how to live below your means, but yet you're expecting that you're going to be able to run your business below its means so it can be profitable. Does that make any sense? Can't you take the next 6 months learning how to manage your paycheck? Can't you take the next 6 months learning how to squeeze dollars out of your paycheck, to squeeze dollars out of your overhead, to squeeze dollars out of your discretionary income, to go ahead and pay for some of the things that you're going to need to pay for, to go ahead and get that business license taken care of while you got income coming in, to go ahead and take care of maybe some training classes that you might need to take? If you can't manage your paycheck, what makes you think you can manage a fortune? It makes no sense. This is why you see people who win the lottery go broke again. They never learn how to manage money, period. But yet you want to be in business for yourself, and now your business is going to go broke because you haven't learned management. Matter of fact, at your job, they wouldn't even make you a manager because you didn't know how to deal with people. But yet you want to go into business thinking that you've learned how to deal with people. I'm going to deal with people my way. You know what? Forget my job. They were wrong. It's not that I'm bad with people. No. I'm going to deal with people my way, and now people are going to buy from me. Really? Your job really just hated you that much. They didn't want the most valuable people in their company to be at the top. No. They saw you as being a threat to their organization, and so they wanted to keep you where you were. Really? That's how businesses operate, right? Right? That's what you think, right? Come on, man. Come on. So what I'm talking about is changing your mindset. Really, I'm not getting on you. I'm just want you to really start thinking about wherever you are right now, because I don't know wherever you are right now. Think about where you are right now. Consider how you got to where you are right now, because whatever you've done in the past led you to where you are right now. And then I want you to ask yourself, what am I willing to change so that I can get to where I want to be? I need to repeat that. Think about where you are right now. I don't care if you're at your job. I don't care if you're in business for yourself and you're looking to take it to the next level. Wherever you are in this road called making money or generating income, ask yourself, man, how did I get to where I am right now? And then ask yourself, what do I need to change to get to where I want to be? Now, if you do not know where you want to be, then that's a problem, right? No entrepreneur should be in this place where they don't know where they want to go next. That's not business. Business knows what they want to do next. Business knows their target. Business knows what they're trying to accomplish. That's business. And so we have to switch. I'm trying to help you switch from being personal to being business. Business works on generating profit. Business works on targets and dates and goals and deadlines. This is why y'all have all those meetings. Now, I don't agree with all those meetings we be having at the job sometimes. That's just crazy. You know, you spend so much time in meetings, you never get nothing done. I believe in action. If we do more action than we do more meetings, then we'll get more done. So I want to repeat that again because I think someone really needs to hear that. I want you to think about where you are right now, how you got to where you are right now. What steps, what did you go through? What did you overcome? Then think about what do you need to change? When I say change, I'm talking about improve. I'm talking about learn. I'm talking about educate yourself on self-improvement in order to get to where you want to be. If you're at a job right now and you want to become an entrepreneur, what do you need to change about yourself to become an entrepreneur? Because truth be told, if you wanted to become an entrepreneur and you had already become the person that you need to become, then you would already be an entrepreneur. So what do you need to change or improve about yourself in order to get to where you want to be? Because you can only accept what you have become. When you become who you need to be, then what you need to do, what's for you will be for you. So think about that for a second. Now, as we talk about that, as we talk about changing to become the person to get the things that we desire, and obviously I'm talking about, again, going from a job, a place where most people are saying, I hate where I'm at. I keep going to the same place. I don't feel like I'm making a difference. I'm just here because I got to pay my bills. Most people, that's where they are. You're just there to pay your bills. And I want to ask you, if bills wasn't an issue, if money wasn't an issue, would you still be at your current job? If money wasn't an issue. Same thing goes for your business. If money wasn't an issue, would you still be doing the business that you're doing? This is a great way for you to know whether you are actually following your passion. If you're doing something that's going to fuel you for a lifetime and not just for a moment. I think I need to repeat that again. This is a great question for you to understand if you're fueling yourself for a lifetime instead of fueling yourself for a moment. So let me ask the question again. If money was no issue, if responsibility and obligation and bills were not a problem, would you still be working the job that you're working, and or would you still be doing the business that you're doing? See, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, if money was no issue, I would still be teaching people about money. That's what I'm passionate about. That's the big elephant in the room. That's the giant of the land that I want to tackle. Yeah, so HH Magazine, clearly you would still be doing your business. But I would venture to say probably 75% of the people that's joining me right now, if money was no object, if it was no issue, they would not be doing what they're doing right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. What you're doing right now could be paying the bills. What you're doing right now could be taking care of your household. You need to do that. That's responsible. You know, I'm a responsible, mature adult. But what I'm talking about is getting to a place where you now can be fulfilled with doing the thing that you love, and it takes care of your household. Does that make sense? Well, yes. He said the recession forced some people in self-employment. Hey, the recession forced some people to learn some things that they would not have learned on their own. And this is the thing about life, guys. We can either change by inspiration or by desperation. We can either change by inspiration or desperation. Now, I would hope that you would change by inspiration. I would hope that this conversation that we're having today is going to inspire you to change the things that you need to change so you can become and have and do the things that you want to do. But I also understand that some people are just going to wait until it's desperation. They're going to wait because some people, they really only, they show up when their back is against the wall. That's when you see the fire come out of them. You know, when they're down to their last dollar and they up all night trying to figure it all out. This is their element. They love pressure. And that's, for some people, that's their element. And so again, I asked you, what is your element? Where is it that you really shine in? What is it that you really shine in? What is that thing for you? You really need to figure that out. Because once you figure that out, once you realize, man, what is my element? Then no matter what business that you're doing, you're going to realize, okay, here is the element that I shine. So here's the strength of the business that I can present to other people. Here's the value that I can bring. Now, your element could also be a business. Your element could be, like she said, she's great at quality control and support. She could actually create services and products that's going to help other people that are poor in that area, and she can fulfill a need. See, this is how you think when you're an entrepreneur. This is not how you think when you have a job. And when you're at your job, you're not thinking, man, what other product, what other values am I bringing to this company that I can just do more and still get paid the same amount? That's not how most people are thinking. They're not thinking about going the extra mile. But as an entrepreneur, you always have to be thinking about going the extra mile. Why? Because your livelihood depends on it. It really does. If I stop today doing the things that I do, people would miss it and then they would soon forget it. Again, people would miss it and then they would soon forget it. So Raz Rising said the recession forced him to follow his passion, man. That's awesome, man. It's unfortunate that, let me say it's not unfortunate. It's life sometimes that has to happen in order for you to get to the place where you need to be, in order for you to actually find your passion and then follow it. Now, I will say that everything that you're passionate about, whatever your passion is, you may not necessarily make it a business. It may not necessarily bring you profit. It may be something that you do for charity. It's just something that you love to do. And, you know, you never thought about, man, I could really turn this thing that I'm great at into an opportunity to generate income. That may not be you. You may be cool with being a secretary and then you offer some services at some club or at the church or something like that. That's totally fine. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about today is those people that know that they want to do something different. What I'm talking about today is people that know that they absolutely want to leave a job and they have an idea of something that they want to do, some value that they want to bring to the marketplace. And they really just at that crossroads where they're like, man, I don't really know, I don't really know what to do. I want to do it. I'm a little scared. I'm a little hesitant. Some people tell me to jump. I don't really want to jump yet because I'm not prepared to jump. I don't have my parachute. You know what I mean? So what do I do? And so you got people here. I'm telling you got people right now that's here, that's tuned in, that are in their own business, that have left the corporate place in order to create their own corporation, that can share with you their experience, that can share with you the things that they went through, that gives you real life stuff, not just half stuff, Like, because when you see stuff on TV, it's like, okay, I only got 10 minutes to talk, so I'm just share the half stuff. I'm talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, because you need to know the ugly too. You need to know the ugly. It's important. Well, that's cool. I mean, hey, that's called capitalism. You capitalize, and she says she loves corporate because she loves a discount. So she's using her job at this point to get the things that she wants. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a job. Yeah, hey, but you know what? The ugly scares people, but the ugly is real. Hey, let me get my dog. 1 second. Hey, come on. All right. Sorry about that. He gonna go crazy when he see dogs outside. I let him outside for a second. He's still barking. He hyped like me. All right. So here's the deal. So I'm gonna open it up, man. I'm gonna open it up to seats, man. I really just man. Again, I wanted to kind of share some things that were bothering me as it relates to the inspiring entrepreneur. One thing that I said earlier: if your strategy, if your marketing strategy, if your sales strategy is I'm gonna create a flyer and I hope people are gonna buy from me, I'm gonna tell you right now, you either need to get a business coach or you need to go back and get a job. That's not gonna work. Too many people are just creating flyer after flyer after flyer, creating event after event after event, and they have not made any connection to a customer. They have not built any brand loyalty, they have not created a business. All they've created is an event. All they created is a flyer, and they're hoping that someone is gonna see their flyer and they're gonna call me today. And guess what? They may call you, but how often are they going to buy? You haven't built anything. That's not building. That's activity. That's not productivity. Again, let me say that again. That's activity. That's not productivity. And I want to tell you, all you got to do is look at your productivity and see if what you're doing is working. All right. I'm telling you, I've got business off of Blab. I've got business off of Facebook. So when people tell me they're not successful, hey, that might be you, but I'm using it for profitability. And it's not just for profit. I'm saying that I'm doing things on there that's bringing value to other people and they're willing to pay me for it. What are you doing? Are you using, and I'm not telling you got to use social media. I don't know what your business is. I don't know what your idea is. I just know that social media is 2015 and 16, right? So I'm going to follow the trend. I'm going to use all this stuff that we have that's coming to us. And it's telling us this is where the world is going. Because when I think about business, I think about business 10 years from now. Most people are thinking about business 10 years ago. That's not where business is going. Business is going into the future, and you're still trying to do business in the past. That's the problem. I've got business. I don't even give business cards. I hardly even have a website, but yet I have a business. Why? Because I know how to connect with people. I used to be on automotive sales. I used to be a salesman. So I realized how to communicate with people. I realized how to put myself out there. I realized not to be scared and let people know my thoughts. I realized how to be an individual that can connect with other individuals. I'm just a real life person that connects with real life people. I don't hide behind a computer, none of that stuff. Hey, Jim, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Evan, how are you, buddy?
Man, I'm good, man. Thanks so much for joining.
Hey, I love the discussion. It's awesome. And I love your passion.
See, look at that. He said the P word.
I said the P word, passion, pursuing passion.
Yeah, so he recognizes some passion. Hey, so real quick, if you, there are seats open, there's 2 seats open, so anybody want to jump in the seat, I'll open it up. You can jump in. Go ahead, Jim. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and I know you have some things to share, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur in Northeast Ohio. I do a number of things, but I run a small entertainment company and event planning and wedding, disc jockey, lighting, that kind of thing. Love it. But what I wanted to share with you and other folks is when I'm chatting with people who tell me that they are interested in entrepreneurship, and I shared this question with you earlier, my litmus test is this. I always ask them, what are you doing right now that people are paying you money to do? Because true entrepreneurs, they cannot contain their passion. So everybody has an idea, right? Everybody you talk to has an idea for how they're going to be an entrepreneur and the next Bill Gates, the next Steve Jobs, the next Elon Musk. And if they only had $500,000, they could get going tomorrow with it. My question is, what are you doing right now that people are paying you money for? What can you do, not with $500,000, but what can you do with $500 today? And if they don't have an answer, They're not real. They're not real.
You about to get me started.
Go ahead. That's all I wanted to share. You.
Hey, no, stay right there. Stay right there. Hey, we're going to get you in just a second. So here's the deal, guys. I had to ask myself the same thing he just said. What can I do right now? So 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was asking myself, what can I do right now while I was at my job? And that was building my brand. What can I do? Oh, I can put on some small little classes. I can see if people are going to actually come to my free event. I can see if people are actually going to pay $5, $10 to hear me talk or hear me teach. And guess what, guys? I started to see results. Matter of fact, I just did a class. Started a class today, and I got a class for. I'm gonna tell you guys, this is how you do market research. This is how I do market research. I got a class that's for 3 through 5, for 6 through 8, and for 9 and up. Same material. Understanding capital markets. Put it out there for everybody. I got 30 students. What I found though is that 80% of my students are grades 3 through 5. Now, as an entrepreneur, what does that tell me? I have found out my market. See, everybody can say, oh, no, teach our adults, teach our high schoolers, teach our middle schoolers, teach the adults. But here's what happens. Where the rubber meets the road, the people that paid are the elementary students. They want their children to learn about finance at an early age. They showed up with money, right? So would it make sense for me to continue to, shouldn't I put more of my focus on marketing back into the 3 through 5 grades versus, hey, let me go through 6 and 8 where I haven't seen much success. Let me go to high school where I haven't seen much success. No, that doesn't make any sense. For me, I follow the term success leaves clues. And I just saw a clue that said, hey, even though I offered very similar information to all of these different grade levels, the people that showed up were the people that had the younger kids. I don't know why that is, but I found a target market. It's called market research. Are you paying attention? You know what? The stuff that I'm sharing today, I should be charging you for, but I'm doing it free because I love my people. I love the village. Hey, Karina, what's going on?
It's just another day. I'm inspired by your conversation. I'm 24 years old, and I dropped out of college not just once but twice. And right now, I'm in a point in my life where I feel like I have so many interests that I don't know how to narrow it down. Whoa. And I'm finally kind of figuring out just a little bit of like what I'm trying to do here. And
one second, Miss Spell, I need you here. Are you able to get on? Go ahead, Karina.
I have the idea, and I have a plan with a friend, and I can't tell you what it is. That's but it's gonna be good. And I have no idea where to begin. Like, it's so big. It's so big that there's so many things that I need to be, and I need to know, like, I'm trying to figure out where to start, you know what I mean? But I'm really excited.
So here's the thing. I'm excited for you, right? Because I heard a lot of things, and here's what I love. This is why I'm a coach, because I can take what you just said and I can really help you see things differently. And that's called refining your ideas. This is why I do what I do. So what I just heard, right? I heard that you have a big dream. You have a big goal. You have a big audacious goal. That's great because it's bigger than yourself. And we understand that in order for us to be successful, it takes more than just me, right? That means that you're going to have to build a network. I also heard you say that you have so many different ideas. You got so many things that you want to do. What does that tell me? That tells me that you're going to be in a place where you are creating multiple streams of income. The question isn't what you need to do. The question is where you're going to start first, right? It's where am I going to start first? It's not that you can't do all that stuff, but where am I going to start first? So let me give you an idea. So I've got a lot of ideas, just like you. That's what entrepreneurs do. They're idea creating magnets. That's what they do. They should be getting paid for their ideas because they got ideas for everybody. So here's what I did. I'm a certified financial educator, right? I've taught classes on stock market. I got a program called Future by Design where I walk people through designing the next 5 years of their life. I teach certified financial literacy to kids and children. I even partner with someone that I actually sell photos. So you see the photo on my page, on my what's it called? That is a affiliate marketing program that I found. I said, man, this is wonderful. I can sell this, and that became another stream of income. So I've got multiple streams of income. It's not just one thing that I do. But the issue is that you have to start with one thing. because you don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Master something. Say, okay, this is what I'm really passionate about. And here's what I want to ask you. With all of the things that you have an interest of doing, with all of the things that you really want to create, be, or do, what is the one thing that you know is going to make the biggest difference in someone else's life?
Spirit.
Huh? Spirit. That didn't answer the question. So spirit. So, but I'm saying, what is the one thing that you can offer the service or whatever it is out of the things that you want to do? What is that one thing that you know is going to tackle a giant in the land? So let me give you an example. Of all the things that I wanted to do, I knew that financial literacy was a giant in the land. And I'm David. So I want to ask you, out of all of your ideas, being, Shira, what is the big villain that you saying, I'm going to tackle that big thing that you talking about, this big idea that you have, this big goal? It's the villain that you gotta slay. That's where you start. You put your energy into that, creating that thing around slaying that giant. That's where you start. Now, the other thing's going to come. You're like, man, okay, well, I took some time off. I'm going to spend an hour here doing this. But I want to know, what's the giant in your land? Does that make sense? Do you know?
Are you asking me?
No, I don't want to. It's a rhetorical question because, you may not want to share it. I don't know. But I'm asking you to think about it. And if you have thought about it and you know the giant that's in your land, then I want to say that you're on the right track. So my question is, do you know the giant that's in your land?
Absolutely.
See, look at that. See,
I don't even want to share it.
Hey, Jim, you got any tips for her?
Oh, this is great. No, this, first of all, I would tell her, Corinna, this is very common with young entrepreneurs. So you probably feel alone in this, but as I talk with entrepreneurs, especially young people, they share that they feel lost. They don't really know where to start. I believe in simplicity. And so my question is, what do you feel confident that you can begin offering people real soon, like tomorrow, next week, this month, that they might pay money for you to provide them? So I would suggest put together in your mind, and I like, Evan, the way you said it's not one thing or the other. I mean, there's room in your life for many, many things, but you have to start somewhere. And I would suggest, what is something that you can get going relatively quickly, relatively inexpensively, so that you can start collecting money. And when that money starts to come in, and I don't mean it has to be a lot, but when people start paying you for your product or service, that will be such an amazing rush for you that you will just go crazy building on those other ideas. But you can't tackle it all at once. You kind of have to start somewhere and build. I'm a believer in, starting small and building instead of being overwhelmed. This happens with a lot of entrepreneurs. They feel the overwhelm of the grand plan to the point where they never start. They never get out of park, So, I would just say, try to figure out what you can start real quickly, relatively inexpensively, just to get going. Do you have any ideas about what that might be?
Well, right now, I've spent a couple hours on the phone with my really good friend. I've known her. She's the longest friend I've had, and she was the one she brought me this idea, right? And essentially, I went to go visit her in Boston, and with that idea that she brought to me, I took that idea and I took it and I made it a lot bigger than she originally planned. But I would have never had that without her. I would have never even gotten there without her. So I have one person, it's her and me right now. And right now, essentially what we're doing is, because we do know a lot of people who have, graduated, they're in the works, they're doing stuff. And right now we're trying to build that team of what we need, people we can trust, because I'm assuming I'm sure it's really hard to, I've never been in business with somebody before, and I really want to make sure that I'm going to build the right team. And I think that's the most important thing. And honestly, the only thing that I could even think about starting for right now, I know this may sound maybe silly. I don't know if I have the right idea or not, but even if it's just tonight or tomorrow, we're meeting on the 15th, but I'm going to come up with maybe just a simple logo. So I have a book and front page. I'm gonna just do some ideas for a logo, because for me, I think it's important to visualize it. If I could like see that and see it coming into fruition, I don't know. That's just what I'm gonna do tonight and tomorrow. Logos.
That's
Hey, Evan. One last thought.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, go ahead. Well, one last thought, Evan, and then you can share my space with someone else. The other thing I tell people to do is this, Karina. People think that, hey, if I work hard enough at it, someday I'll be an entrepreneur. I want you to start thinking right now, this minute, today. You're an entrepreneur right now. Okay? You might not be a very good one, but you are. I want you to start thinking of yourself as an entrepreneur right this minute. And your job from this minute forward is to learn how to be a better one. Entrepreneurship doesn't have to be this thing that you might be someday, next year, 5 years from now, when you're ready. Entrepreneurs are very rarely ready. Trust me. So start thinking of yourself.
Start something, or you don't have to be ready to start something.
Right. Start thinking of yourself right this minute as an entrepreneur, and make it your goal to be a better one tomorrow, next week, next month. And Evan, like I said, if you want to, share my spot with someone else, go ahead and do that.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I got it. Yeah, that's cool, man. I appreciate it. We got open spots, so if you want to jump in,
okay,
cool. I got another spot. So, Karina, man, so I like the idea of activity, right? You're going to create a logo. That's good. So let me ask you about this meeting that you have coming up. Is this a meeting of the minds, or is this a meeting where you guys are hanging out and doing something fun?
No, of the minds. Meeting of the minds. I'm in Connecticut. She's in Boston right now, and we're gonna meet to just to talk about it in person.
Okay. So and my next question would be, because you mentioned that if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't have the idea, and I want to help you to understand that ideas can come from anywhere. So I don't want you to be dependent on one person to feel like, oh, I got to do business with this person because this is where the idea came from. Now, I'm not saying that you don't do business with her. I'm just saying that when you become as an entrepreneur, you are always seeking, knocking, and asking. And because you're in a mode of seeking, knocking, and asking, you always receive. So you're going to always get ideas from unfamiliar places. Even right now, you might be getting ideas. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be in business with either one of us. That could mean that we partner with you towards your success, like we're doing. We're sharing some things that's going to help you get over the hump. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be in business with it. So you will find out very soon if this is a person that you really need to form a business with, that you're going to actually go through the process of putting the paperwork together. We're in partnership. We're pacting on this venture once you figure out whatever that venture is. But it's great that you recognized an idea because you recognize the idea that you have is an idea to profit from. It's an idea to serve people. It's an idea to bring value to the marketplace. So that's awesome. But now we got to get to that place where we can refine that idea and we can offer something. So when I think about your big giant, whatever that is, your giant in the land, one of the things I want you to think about, like Jim said, is what can I do now that's going to get me going towards slaying this giant? And it's something that I can offer in relation to the giant in the land. Whether it's I'm going to have a conversation and we're going to do a blog, or we're going to whatever. I don't know what it is for you, but what is that big giant that you're going after? What is something right now where you can tackle its feet? That's what I want you to think about. I got a big giant, and I don't have my slingshot, but I got a sword, and I can cut his toenail. I want you to cut his toenail in the next week. That's all I'm saying. Because ultimately, what I want you to do is I want you to start going towards your big dream. And the way that you be going towards your big dream is to create something right now, no matter how small it is. It could be a T-shirt for the awareness of what it is that you're going after. It could be, it looked like you might be a little artsy. I don't know. You talk about creating, you know what I'm saying? So you can create a scarf, a hat. You got a hat on right now. Create a hat that's going to bring awareness to the problem that you're trying to solve. Boom, you can sell that. And you can
so much bigger than that. I wish it was a hat. I wish it was as simple as selling a hat. I do get what you're saying.
So Karina, it is as simple as selling a hat. That's what I want you to see. I'm not saying that your big giant is that simple. What I'm saying is the first step is that simple. Okay. So let's think about businesses, for example, right? Let's just take, let's just take Robert Kiyosaki, who built up his real estate business, and now he's in business teaching other people how to be in business. Think about all the different types of ways in which he does his business. He's got a class for game. He's got coaching that he offers. He's built the systems around all these different small things that lead up to the big thing of tackling his big giant. And so for us, we can start with, how do I tackle the big toe? I got to get him limping. So it could be as simple or something as small as selling a hat. I'm just using that as an example. But you mentioned a logo. Well, if you can create logos, well, now you got a service that you can offer. How many people need logos?
I'm assuming a lot. I know a lot of friends.
How many businesses, how many aspiring entrepreneurs, how many people have terrible logos that need a logo?
A lot.
A lot, right? And if you only sold to a few of the lot that need it, is that income?
Yes.
So you create your logo, and if you feel like, hey, I do a good job of creating logos, now you can say, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I can create some logos for you guys if you're looking for a logo. You see how simple that is?
Right. I get what you're saying. I don't mean to change the subject by any means. It was something you said earlier that when you talked about identifying your strengths and finding others to compensate for the weaknesses that you have. I just wanted to touch on that. This is the reason why I feel it in every part of my being that this is who I'm going to do it with, because she compensates for a lot of my weaknesses that I don't have, and she has these things that I look to her for support in certain things, and vice versa. She does the same for me when it comes to the things that I'm strong in and she's not. So that's the last thing I wanted to say before I have to exit out of here. But thank you so much just for
I wanted to say one thing to you before you exit out. Try working backwards. It sounds like, and what I'm feeling right now is that you have this idea so big, so very big, that you're carrying it around in your head. And sometimes if you put it out on paper, put all of the ideas out on paper, you clear some space to say, okay, now I'm the boss. I'm the boss because I'm the head of this company. Which task would I pick up and hand to my employee? And what would I tell my employee to do with this task? Because this is the first thing I need to do. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, taking off the hat of boss and putting on the hat of employee can help us decide where to start. Because if I'm hearing you right, it sounds like you're going around in a circle right now because it's just too much. You just don't know what to do. And if that is the case, put everything down on paper. That's what the boss would do. The boss would sit down and say, this needs to happen in order for us to launch. All right. And then the boss would find the people to do those particular tasks. Once you have it down on paper, you can decide which one of these tasks can I do right now that needs to be done before my meeting, before I have this meeting. So I go into this meeting, not just totally open-ended. I go into this meeting because my boss sent me into this meeting to get this information. If you can flip hats like that, sometimes as a person who's very creative and very artistic, we have all of these ideas flying around in our head.
Yeah, sometimes I make diagrams.
Okay, get it all out. Do a notebook, get it all out, and then number it. Look at everything. Once you get everything out on paper that you can think of, think about, what needs to be done out of all of these things? Which needs to be done before my meeting? And what's stopping me from getting them done? If there's nothing stopping you from getting it done, do it. And that'll help you move a little bit closer to where you want to go. What I find a lot of times with especially young entrepreneurs, myself included, that you have so many ideas bouncing around in your head that you don't have space for the just doing. And what I'll come in the morning is I'll put on my hat. The boss sits down, looks at everything, looks at the big picture, and they break it down and they hand it out to the employees. And then in the afternoon, I, as the employee, look at my list and I take care of it. Maybe if you can do that, by the time you have your meeting, you will have down your idea into bite-sized pieces so that it's not just a brainstorming event. It's a my boss sent me in here to find out this information so that we can move to the next step. You are the boss, but if you can sort of think of yourself in twos, because, as an entrepreneur, you wear a bunch of hats. Which hat do I need to wear today? But it sounds like the first hat you need to do is to put on the hat of the boss, go get me the ideas. And then you go to the creative person who writes down all of the ideas, and they run back to the boss with all the creative ideas. Then the boss looks at those and they decide, which one can I give to this person? Maybe that might, just wanted to say that, that doesn't make sense to you.
Yes, you know what? You had a good point. Sometimes I have too many ideas. I don't do anything. So it's recognition to have.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah, to start with just those little things. I agree.
Put all of it down. Put the whole big picture down. Don't try to carry it around in your head.
Right.
Then take the little bits and break them up.
Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Okay, you're welcome. I know that you're going to be successful. Just, they say, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time.
That's true.
Yeah. Don't try to shove the whole thing down. You look and plan for 3 to 5 years for the first portion of your business to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. You don't build muscle overnight. But if you do something each and every day, it will move you closer to your goal. So I just wanted to, I felt like you were running around in a circle, and I don't want you to get off track and start following the money. You follow the idea, but make sure you get those ideas so you have success. Okay?
Thank you. And Kevin, for starting this conversation. You're a cool guy. I like you.
Hey, cool, man. Well, I try to do this stuff. So, I follow you, follow me, man. Whenever I put something together, you put something together. We definitely support one another. Again, I'm all about partnering for success, man. You got to build a network. It takes a village.
Yep.
Build it, you find together, man. So I look forward to seeing what's coming from you, Kareem. I know you got to go. But I definitely, I want to thank you for coming on and having the courage to share where you are. Most people won't do that. Most people sit here and watch.
That's my second day on here. I've never used it before. It's my second day on here. The only reason I found it is because I was really manic the other night, and I started going through this obsession with watching Martin Shkreli interviews, and I found him on Blab. Martin Shkreli, the CEO of the pharmaceutical company that raised the price of a single pill from $1,350 to $750 in one night or something. So yeah, that's how I found Blab. But thank you, and I'm sure I'll catch you later.
It's good to have a community. Keep on listening to, and another thing about Blab, get you a notebook and write down the ideas so it doesn't just pass over. You know, start collecting, because there's a lot of good information out here on Blab. And you may not be able to use it right now, but the next step, you know. But get those. Yeah, you'll be successful.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Yeah.
So this is the wonderful thing, man, about, I really appreciate that, Ms. Green, coming in, man, as an intuitive life coach, man, doing your thing. Hey, this is what happens, man, when people just put stuff together and put it out and start talking about it. I mean, that's what Blab is really about. We get on and start having these conversations. I mean, I'm talking about meaningful conversations. I'm talking about life-changing conversations. I'm not just talking about stuff just to shoot the breeze. That's cool. That has its place. But here's what I've learned, man, in life, is that too many people spend major time on minor things and minor time on major things.
That's true.
Too many people spend major time on minor things and minor time on major things. So I want to ask you, you got to think to yourself for your business or the things that you want to do next. What's major? That's where you want to spend the majority of your time.
And I think too many of us, myself included, get caught up with, the next big thing and the next big shiny object.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're carrying it around, we're carrying the idea around so much that we don't take the time to clear it out so we can get the actionable steps together that are needed. And that's what I just sort of felt that she was full.
So that's actually a great point. So ask yourself, and for everybody that's watching right now, what's your outlet? Everybody has a different outlet. So she said, write it down. I don't write stuff down. I got a voice recorder. I got my own car chronicles on my voice recorder. I'm driving around in my car. I got hey, this is what I'm thinking about. It's May such and such, and this is what everything that's going on in ERDJ's life. Right? What's your outlet? Maybe your outlet is your wife. Maybe your outlet is, out at fishing. I don't know. What is your outlet? What do you do to clear your mind, to make space for new ideas, new direction?
Yeah.
That is very important.
Evan, I just want to chime in because Miss Green, as you were talking to Karina, what came to my mind was we live in a time of great distraction. I mean, more than probably the history of man, right? And that is the kryptonite of an entrepreneur. Distraction is the kryptonite of an entrepreneur because I think we are inherently curious people. We really do want to learn new things, and we're always like, what's right around the corner? What's that shiny object? And all of this distraction takes us away from focusing. And I thought that was just amazing advice for any entrepreneur, nevertheless, a young person.
Yeah.
And Evan, I have to get going to a meeting soon, but when I'm listening to you talk, and it sounds to me like your client base it might be, young people.
Oh, yeah.
Like Karina's age, college people, high school, and even middle school people, and maybe even elementary school kids, I don't know. But it made me think, too, of, when we were all growing up, we were all asked this question: what do we want to be when we grow up? Right? Were you asked that in school, probably in third grade or something?
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up? And it's a very good question. But when I think about that, what I think we were really being asked inadvertently was, what kind of job do you want to have, or what kind of employee do you want to be?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so our answer was, I want to be
pilot.
I don't know. Yeah, all of that. But that programmed us maybe in a negative way. No one ever asked me, what kind of business do I want to run when I grow up? Right. No one ever asked me, what kind of boss will I be? How will I serve my employees? How will I nurture my employees? And so that is a completely different mind shift, if you will. And I think that if you, as you work with the young people, teaching them how to manage money, or even on a larger scale, entrepreneurship, that is a very powerful question. Not that there's anything wrong with being an employee. I'm totally fine with that. If you wake up in the morning and you give your best at whatever you do, that's cool. But I fear for our younger people, they're not getting asked that question. They're not getting asked, what kind of business do you want to run? What kind of boss will you be? And they really should be. If we want to prepare a new generation of entrepreneurs, that's the question that we should be asking them.
Man, I tackle this thing for so many different angles. So I go into the high schools, and that's one of the things that I ask them. Or I even help them to refine their diet. So somebody say, hey, I want to be a lawyer. I say, hey, have you ever thought about being a judge? Right? Because I understand that there's a lot of things because the judge get paid for a lifetime, right? They never lose their
Right.
But no one's ever said I want to be a judge. It's always a lawyer because it's about what they see. Yeah. So I try to bring different things for them to see. I've never heard someone say when they're growing up, what do you want to be? They say, I want to be an investment banker. Investment banker makes over $500,000 a quarter. No one has ever said, I want to be an investment banker. They haven't seen it. What they see, we are unfortunately, we're programming, the society is programming our children with television and with Facebook and with social media, with what they see. Mm-hmm. What I try to do, I try to bring different things in for them to see something different. You know, quite honestly, I don't know. I don't. When I was growing up, and I'm not. This is not about race, but I have never seen a black man talk about money. Just hadn't happened, right? I seen him rap. Mm-hmm. I seen him hit baseballs. I seen him catch footballs. But I ain't never seen a black man talk about money. Matter of fact, I can only think of Dave Ramsey, Clark Howard, Susie Orman right now on the top of the list. So I said, hey, I got a space that I can fill, right? I can go into these schools and these colleges and these these elementary schools, these churches, these organizations that have been waiting on my services. And it's not just financial. I mean, financial is a part of it, but entrepreneurship is actually a part of the program, right? Because you talk about different ways that you can earn income. So, hey, I'm teaching them not just linear income where you got to, give your time for money. But now I'm teaching you, okay, well, what can you do one time and get paid for a lifetime? Maybe it's a book, maybe it's write a song. Then I'm talking about, okay, well, what can you do to get passive or portfolio income, which would be some of your investments where you get dividends and interest, you get things like that. So now they start to see that, oh man, at an early age, wow, there's some other different ways for me to actually have money coming into my house. And if it wasn't presented to me, and what I say is, hey, my job is to make sure that you are aware. Now, what you do with the information is up to you. You can say, hey, I don't want to do anything with it or whatever, but you can never say I was never presented with it. And so that's my goal.
Yeah, not only get money to come in, but keep money when it comes in is
well, that's part of it.
Especially in our community, knowing how the saving, of how to keep the money once you can't get in, wise use of the money. I'm not gonna stay in long, but I saw going back to what your last guest was talking about and getting ideas down. And she said she had a voice recorder, and the voice recorder is good, except when you leave it all on the recorder. We have gotten, I'm an auditory person too, but you really need to take it from, after you get all your ideas down, take the time to write those ideas down so they're staring you in the face, or otherwise you will find 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road that you had this great idea, but you didn't do anything with it because it sort of got buried. Getting things up and out and on your on the page makes a difference. They say, think it, ink it. If you can put it down where you can see it, it takes it out of that dream world and makes it a reality of something that I can actually shoot for. It is a map. It is something visual that I can actually shoot with. So I just wanted to throw that in because I saw a comment on the side and she had made that comment, and I've made the mistake of, okay, I'll just get my ideas down on the tape recorder. But how long do they stay on that voice memo?
Well,
do you ever?
So here's what I would say about that, because I'm a voice recorder person, and I also go through a process called Future by Design, and I understand that to go from dream to reality, right? It's a process that you go from, okay, well, I have a dream, now I have a dream with a deadline, which is a goal, now I have a goal which has steps, which has an action plan. Every idea that you have isn't yours to keep. Some ideas we just gave some ideas to her. They weren't ours to keep. So some ideas that I get aren't for me. It's about me recognizing, okay, this is an idea that falls in line with where I'm going, and this is for me to keep. Here's an idea that I just have. Maybe I'm gonna write a book one day. It keeps coming up, but it's not something I want to pursue right now. But I know that it's there as an idea, so I've captured it somewhere. To me, for me that works. I'm not saying for everybody, and I understand the process of writing stuff down. I got a big planner. I write stuff down as my schedule, but I'm all about, you got to make sure you capture it somewhere where you know where you captured it. However,
totally agree with that. But once you capture it, you don't want to. It's like you go out and catch the fish. You don't want to let the fish rot in the boat.
Look at this.
While you're out catching a bunch of others. And sometimes if we don't actually see it, we're out there just pulling in all of these fishes without putting it down and putting concrete steps. That's just, by the way.
So here Ms. Magazine said, and here's the type of person I am, and I wonder how many other people we have that's here that's like this. I'm the type of person, when I get a good idea, I start working on it. Like, I don't just, you know what I mean? I'm writing my record. Oh man, that's a good idea. When I come home, I start working on it. I might be up to 2, 3 in the morning. She said she had an idea about a natural beauty pageant. In 2 days, she created it. So why would we wait to work on a good idea? That's my question. Why do we wait to work on a good idea? You got a good idea. You just got one. You matter of fact, you watching this right now, you got some good ideas. Let me ask you this. Why are you going to wait to work on it? See, the reason why I'm successful as an entrepreneur, because I'm an action person. I'm a do-it person. I'm not a thinking person. I think all day long, but what I do more so than think is I act. When I get an idea I'm working on right now, I'm working on a real life Monopoly, how understanding this game will make you rich. I'm working on it. It wasn't an idea from 5 weeks ago. It was an idea from 3 days ago, and I'm working on it. So why do we wait? If you got some ideas right now, and you got some good ideas that you're like, man, this is really something that I want to do, why would you wait to put some action into it? And you know that it's going to bring a benefit to other people. I had a person that I talked to today, and she was telling me that she wanted to put this class on. And I was like, okay, what's the next step? And she's like, oh, I got to finish working on my deck. I said, no, that's not the next step. What's the next step? Oh, I got to do this. No, the next step is you need to schedule your class. Because when you schedule it and you say, this is when I'm going to do my class, best believe you have everything ready when it's time to do that class. And then she said, well, I said, when you going to schedule it? She said, I'm going to schedule it for, February 27th. I said, okay, so you got value that you're going to bring to people. Now you can wait a whole month to bring it to them. That doesn't make any sense. Why are we waiting so long to, to put this thing into place? So she got the point eventually. I was like, hey, capitalize, work on your idea and capitalize on it. The sooner you can find out if other people are interested in your idea, the better off you can be, right? Oh, either I keep going with it or it's time for me to go with my other ideas. That's just something I do. I'm a spirit of immediately type of guy. If I say, hey, this is what we're going to do, boom, we're working on it. As an entrepreneur, I got a lot of time. I ain't got to manage it right, but I got some time. And I'm not a person that has kids and all that stuff. So I got a little bit more freedom.
Yeah. I hear exactly what you're saying. I have found myself sometimes this year is all about doing. You can get all about preparing, but you have to also do. But also you can't get caught in the trap of doing this today and boom, an idea, especially when you seem to be a very pragmatic person, okay? But if you're dealing with somebody who tends to be more on the creative side, who is constantly getting ideas in, they have all of these pieces and parts that are never taken to completion. And they're never taken to completion because they started this today. Oh, boom, but I heard this and it sounds like such a good idea. Let me do this. Boom. You know, it's a balance of the two, I guess is what I'm saying.
Definitely agree.
You don't want to lose the ideas, and you may find that all of the ideas blend together once you get them down on paper.
Yeah.
But you don't want to get stuck in there. Well, as soon as I complete this one, I'll do that one. But you also want to you want to do it. But you want to do it in a fashion that you actually accomplish, that you're completing and accomplishing things and not just starting because a new idea came and you jumped from this seat over to this seat and started running. At least for me, that's what I've discovered. You know? So, you know, when you run into a roadblock, what I've learned is I just yell it out, and if it pertains to you, hey, see if it works. If not, so be it. I've shared it, and you move on like I need to be moving on back to my list of things that like I've even learned to limit my time here at Blab, because when I first fell into the hole and discovered social media, especially this format where you could talk to people, oh wow, I'm running up and down the road, and you look up and you got 2-3 hours that have passed as you're discussing the ideas. But I have a list of my to-do. I came in as the boss this morning, got my list that I gave to the employee, and the employee right now, it's time for her to go back. My break is over.
Elizabeth, it's time for me also. I'm putting my salesperson cap on, and I have to go meet a prospective client at a coffee shop. So I'm signing off. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for a great discussion. I'm going to follow you.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Evan. But back to work.
Take care.
All right, you guys have a good one. Hey, so I'll be on for just a little bit, guys, man. So if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you. Again, we've been talking about becoming your own boss. So you want to be your own boss, things to consider before you quit your job, man. And so it's been a great conversation. I really want to get some things out and just kind of share with you guys, because there are a lot of sides, a lot of hats that you have to wear when you become your own boss. And I don't think that many of us, we actually consider those hats before we actually step into the realm of creating the life that we want to live, or creating the product or service or the business that we want to create. And so it's been very, very, awesome to have people that are willing to share. See, that's the thing about Blab, man. When you can create a platform where you open it up for people to be able to share, then everybody wins. And so I'm all about the network. I'm all about the village. And so if you're following me, or you're feeling what we're doing here, all you gotta do is click that follow button. I just do things like this on occasion. I am a coach. I'm all different types of coaches. My main coach is a finance coach, a personal finance coach. I teach financial literacy. But some people call me a life coach. I'm a business coach. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm here to help people take it to the next level. And so one of the things that I've been seeing is that, cool, Black Business, bro. One of the things that I've been seeing is that people are really having a hard time with this thing called sales. And so that's what really caused me to say, come on here and just talk about this thing, because people just do not know how to sell. And it's hurting their business because they never have taken the time to really look into, man, how can I be more efficient in sales? And I think for some people, it's just such a harsh word. They think sales means that, you're pounding people to buy your product. That's not what it is at all. Sales is just another word for excellent customer service. And if you can provide excellent customer service, you can meet the value, over excel in meeting the needs of your prospective clients, and they'll build trust with them, and they'll want to do business with you. And guess what? When you provide excellent customer service, then they become people that only want to do business with you. And that's how I've been able to be successful. My success has not come from a business card. My success has not come from a flyer. My success has not come from a website. My success has come from connecting with people and letting them know what I do. And my question is for you, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're really ready to quit your job, how many people are you letting know what you do? And are you doing it in a manner in which they will support you? How many people are you letting know what you do? And are you doing it in a manner in which they will support you? Ralph, I see that you're here, brother. I know you might have a few things that you'd like to share, man. I know we met a while back when you got started writing this book, and you're here today. If you got a few things that you'd like to share, man, feel free. We got a little bit more time. I see we got Miss Tammy Myers. Okay, you follow me, wedding planner and conscious love coach. Oh my goodness, you helping people get back into the spirit. Hey, Amina, thanks so much for joining, man. Ralph, man, what's going on, brother?
Hey, outstanding. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I know you've been watching for a little bit, man. I figured you might have a few things to share with the people, man, because every time you come on, you bless them.
well, as an entrepreneur, being my own boss, I have to share something. I've been the hardest person I ever had to work for was myself. I believe in being just brutally honest with people. Having your own company, running your own business, it's very rewarding. But I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Sometimes that paycheck for clocking in and clocking out, for being there when your boss tells you to, and not have the other challenges that go with running your own company. I'm a realtor. I also do public speaking. So the buck stops here. If I don't get it done, or if I don't delegate it, it's not going to happen. Where, for example, when my wife and I go on a little vacation, being the only person in real estate, I don't get time off. I still have to follow up with my clients because they deserve that. I have had the privilege of serving them, either as working with them as a buyer or selling their properties. And I need to stay in contact with them and keep up with that even while I'm on vacation. So what I'm trying to express here, being your own boss, being an entrepreneur, is very rewarding, but it also carries with it your responsibilities. When before I was my own boss, if I didn't feel well, I could call in sick and I didn't have to worry about it. It's kind of like being a parent. You can't call in sick, your kids still need you. So with the rewards comes responsibilities, and more responsibility often comes more rewards. I mean, the accomplishment, you have control of your life. And when you're out there building something, you're building it for yourself rather than building it for someone else. But when if that building tumbles down, you have no one else to blame but yourself. In a business, you can say, well, it was management. Well, when you're in management, so be it. Yeah, so be it. So some questions I asked before when the young lady was talking about she was wanting to do this, and she had this great idea, her and her friend. And my question was, what would you do if you didn't have to do anything? And I tell people I'm 108, but I'm really only 63. But I love what I do. I don't see myself going into that retirement mode. I get up in the morning with an excitement and gratitude and passion that I get to help people. Being a realtor is a very cool career to be in, because think about it. Think about what you value the most. When you were a little one growing up, you remembered birthday parties, maybe Thanksgivings, Christmas celebrations, different things. You remember all these life events in this place that you grew up. And a lot of times it's a house, it's a home. And I get to help people make that decision and give them that direction and ask questions so they can live a awesome life in a home, a house that they make a home. So to me, I don't take it lightly. It's not just selling them a property. It's not about collecting a commission. It's about making a difference in people's lives. And likewise, when I speak, it's not about going someplace and getting paid to speak. It's about touching lives and making the world just a little bit better. So being a entrepreneur, being your own boss, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I highly encourage that. And, I know you appreciate Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Read that book. Before you go out in business, read that book and become very clear on what you want to do and the amount of money you want to make. He talks about money. A lot of times I get very clear on the difference I want to make, because that to me has just as much value as those dollar bills. So
you know how to jump into a seat.
Say that again.
I was saying HH Magazine, she's been sharing some wonderful stuff. She had to jump into a seat. Go ahead, Ralph.
So you go out and you can create the life you want. You can envision it, and you get very, very clear on it, and don't get overly excited. I know she was the young lady was talking about doing her decals or logos and getting that. And I guess my question to her is, what's most important? Is it most important to be totally clear on what you want and what you want to provide to people, or some emblem that, to me, that doesn't impress me much. I can see an emblem and say, oh, that's cool, but that's not going to get me to buy that product or commit to that service that person's given. So,
and you know what, Ralph, that's interesting, because I'm one of the things that I do and I provide and I help people with is helping them to understand the difference between activity and productivity. And I see so many people that are creating a lot of different things that are not being productive towards their bottom line or whatever the case may be. I have so many people that want to create a sales funnel. I have so many people that want to create a flyer. I have so many people that want to do, and I'm like, we need to get down to nuts and bolts. What's going to help you bring your service to people? Not just what's going to help them to see what you offer, but what's going to help you to bring your service to people. And I'm telling you guys, and I'm going to keep preaching this until people get the hint. A flyer is nothing but an oversized business card. If you throw away your business cards when you get them, then guess what you're going to do with them flyers? To me, it's like it's the easy way. And what I want to tell people is that if you want your life to be easy, then do what's hard. But if you want your life to be hard, do what's easy. Keep doing what's easy, and you're going to see how unsuccessful your business is going to be. But if you start doing what's hard, you start thinking outside the box, you start saying, how can I be different than everybody else that's creating a flyer? How can I be different than everybody else? Then that's how you set yourself apart. Like, man, this person is doing something different. This guy's doing something different in real estate. He actually cares about me getting the absolutely right house. He doesn't just care about me getting a house. He cares about me getting the right house for my family to fit my needs. He didn't just say, hey, let me take you to the most expensive house that's going to give me the biggest commission. We're only going to show that. He started asking me, what is it? Tell me about your family. Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? How many people that you're going to be needing to, put into this house? What type of school district do you want to live in? Do you want to have your children go to? He started asking all these questions probably over time. I don't even know what he asked, but I'm sure he asked me these questions. And if I'm giving him stuff, but I'm pretty sure this guy is a super professional, because like-minded people hang out. Birds of a feather hang out together.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's not my business card. It's not my jacket. It's what's inside. And I remember the guy who said it was Dave Beeson. Dave Beeson says, tell yourself you don't need another transaction. You need thousands. You need thousands. And my business card is my reputation. In the community the street I walk down, the places I visit, the organizations I'm involved with, people know me, and they know what they're going to get. They know who I am. And my business is strictly repeat and referral business.
My business is my reputation. That right there is what we need to rename this blab as. My business is my reputation.
This young lady that just came in, she's a lot better looking, and I know she's got something very beautiful to add. So I want to hear from her.
Yeah, hey, Miss. So what, Miss HH Magazine? I know you promoting your magazine. I don't know what Triple H stands for. I don't know if that's your name or Hunter Hearst Helmsley from WWF or whatever. But tell us a little bit about your name, and I know you got some stuff to add because you've been over there in the comment section heavy.
Yeah, well, my name is Lisa Marie, and HHH has a dual meaning. It stands for, when I first created it in 2009, my niche market was unsigned and independent musicians needing that promotion and support in a media publication. So it stands for Hunks and Hotties of Hip Hop. And then the flip side of that is my print and digital versions appeal to women ages 25 to 35. So it stands for Healthy, Harmonious, and Headstrong. So those issues are released quarterly, and they it's a global publication, and that's what I appeal to as far as that with the magazine goes.
Hey, do you have a super woman shirt on or something?
I have on a Superman jersey.
Okay, I thought that's what that was. Damn on them, Cam. Damn on them.
But I mean, I'm happy that I ran across your blab. I've just been doing a lot of work in things today. But I'm an action person too. And like I said over in the comments, and even when the young lady earlier was on and she was saying how she has so many ideas. But the first thing, when I first logged in, you were talking about finding what it is that you're good at, and then, utilizing and capitalizing off of that. And that's where a lot of people get lost. They get lost in the clouds. They want to do everything. And when I first started, I wanted to be a magazine that did everything. I wanted to be Source, XXL, Essence, Ebony, Jet, Vibe, all rolled into one. But when you have so many different things coming at you, you get confused, you get overwhelmed, you start to get stressed, and then you start to doubt, is this something that I really want to do? Can I really do this? And having someone like a mentor or a business coach who can help you filter through all of these things, I think a lot of young entrepreneurs starting out don't seem to really utilize that they have, because what you guys do is you take all of that out of equation and you get right down to the nitty gritty. So it's kind of like creating, having flashcards and writing everything down, and then doing that subtraction, going through, that process. Okay, so if you do this, how many of these things are similar? How many of things can you group into one category, and then focusing on that one thing? As I wanted to have a record label. I want to have a radio show. I want to have a promotions company, as well as the magazine and everything else. And of course, the publishing company. So what I did was I focused on one thing. I built the publishing company, and within the publishing company, I released the magazine. From the magazine, then I launched the radio station, and then I go on from that. And that's what people need to do. It's okay to have all of those ideas, but you need to have one central thing that you put everything into, and then you build off of that. But don't do it like this week I'm doing this, and then next week I'm doing that. You need to, plant those seeds and let that foundation grow first.
We got Mr. Farmer.
You have to plant those seeds and let that foundation get firm and solid before you start branching off. So that's what I did. Of course, like I said, I did the publishing company, I built the magazine. I planted those seeds, you know, because I needed content. I needed people to have in there. So I started sowing those seeds in different social media platforms. And then it started to build my foundation. And my foundation got so solid where I'm being viewed by over 55 different countries. From that, it allowed me to have that branch where I was able to launch the radio station and going from there. So with those three things alone, that's all I needed. And a lot of people, I say, you know, you have to start with one thing. And however you get them out, you do voice, I do writing. I'm a visual person. So I have to write first, then I'll type it up. But I can't do audio. I can listen to audio. And then, Ralph, your point is, look, I have over 200 books in my home library. And the majority of them are self-help, business, and, you know, motivation and things like that. Because like I say, I have the audio, the digital, and the physical copy of Think and Grow Rich. How to win friends and influence people. It's so many things out there that people overlook and fail to utilize in their arsenal when they need help and they're just struggling unnecessarily.
Lisa, do you know what I speak to? Have you ever? My topic is plant seeds carefully. Manifest greatness. And when you talk about planting seeds, you know, and it goes back to, and Mr. Jefferson heard me speak from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Our minds are like fertile soil. They grow whatever is fallen in, that's embedded in it. If it's a seed, productive or a weed, it's going to grow it. You know, so that's what I speak on, and I love your Superman. Have you ever seen the TED Talk where this lady talks about getting in state before you go into any important meeting? You have pretend you have a Superman cape on and walk around, strut around like you've got a cape flowing behind you, and get in that state that you see yourself just flying and just kicking butt. Now you go into that meeting, you've anchored yourself into a certain state that, you know, that meeting's yours. You're going to control that meeting. You're going to get out of it, you know, rather than go in, you know, with not having confidence and stuff. So I love what you really speak to, and being my own boss. I have an appointment I need to get to, but I just thought I'd jump in real quick to you know, join in the chat, but. I've got to get some farms prepared so I can go out and help somebody into a home and so their family can live happy ever after.
All right, Ralph. Thanks so much, man, for tuning in and joining in on the conversation, man. I know I'm gonna be seeing you around, brother.
Hey, have an outstanding day. Come jump in on my Blab on Saturday morning. It's Plant Seeds Carefully, and I love, you know, and I would love, Lisa, you jump in too. I love to interview people like yourselves who I call it plant seeds, but we're doing the same thing. It's law of attraction. You know, you listen to any of the gurus from Tony Robbins to Les Browns to Zig Ziglar's, or they speak the same thing. But sometimes when you can share your story a certain way, it triggers that emotion in somebody. And you guys are doing awesome. And I hope to inspire the world too, you know, and change that negative thought, one thought at a time.
Exactly.
One thought at a time, man. Thank you.
Hey, have an outstanding day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Yeah, Lisa, so it looked like I might be coming to a radio station near you. That's right.
Well, I actually stopped my radio station, but people keep trying to get me to do it again. But now I've gotten into the live broadcasting world.
Yeah, me too. I did some radios. I didn't do radio. I like blog talk and things like that. But I was like, you know what? Live is where it's at. Live is where everything going. You got Periscope. You got Facebook that just went live. You got Blab. So I don't know, guys. You know, people that ain't, again, when you think about business, guys, I want you to think about business 10 years from now, not 10 years ago. when you think about business, you think about what you're doing, you think about the things that you want to pursue. I want you to think about your business idea. If you don't have a business, your job that you might have, I want you to think about it 10 years from now. What is it going to be doing? Not 10 years ago. See, if you're doing 10 years ago, you're going to be behind. It's because there's evolution that's happening. And so right now we're in this live stream world, like everything's going live stream. We see it happening. We see Periscope. We see Blab. We see, Facebook Live. We see YouTube now going live with YouTube Red. So we see these things that are happening. The thing is, are we going to capitalize and participate on it? And then if you are really an idea person, you got to think about, man, what's going to be next? Because you could be the builder of what's next. You could be in the forefront of what's next, whatever that may be. So I don't know why I'm saying that, but, clearly, I had to move away from Blog Talk Radio because I need to be on camera somewhere. I need to be talking to people. I need to have some dialect. And this just popped up, and we started doing things with this, and been phenomenal ever since. So I'm following you, Lisa. It's such a pleasure to bring you on, and everybody else as well. If you are connecting to anything that anyone has said, and I want you to just click the click button right above their name so that you can follow them and that you guys can start to build a network and you can start to partner for each other's success. Because at the end of the day, man, no one is a self-made millionaire. What happens is we are utilizing other people in our networks to help us grow. And so if you can get around like-minded people, and I believe that that's where we're at, because we wouldn't all be on here if we weren't like-minded in some way. You would have all clicked off a long time ago if it wasn't something that connected with you. So why not stay connected? Don't just get connected and unplug. Stay connected so that when you're going through your time, when you're going through your winter season, guess what? You got people around you that help build you up. When I was going through my time, I had people that were reaching out to me, Evan, what's going on? Hey, you ain't done nothing in a while. You ain't done a live stream in a while. What's going on? They make me be accountable because they're looking for my stuff. And I want you to be in the same position, because when you got people not begging, but you got people asking for your services, then you know that you're bringing value to the marketplace. If you were to leave today and no one realized that you were gone, go get a job. If you were to leave today and no one realizes or sees that you're gone, go get a job. Entrepreneurship may not be for you. But if you're here today and you say, man, if I was to stop doing what I'm doing right now, people are going to be like, what happened to her? What happened to him? And I'm telling you, you're in the right place, man, because you're bringing value to the marketplace. And the whole law of money is the exchange of value for value. You bring value in a service or product, and they bring value in the form of money or a service or product in return. We used to have a barter system. So if you are at that place, you want to make sure that, hey, whatever I'm doing, people are going to recognize when I'm going. And then they recognize when I'm going, and I know I'm bringing value. And if I know that I'm bringing value, now I want to find a way to bring more value. I bring more value. I'll serve more people. If I serve more people, I'll make more money, all that good stuff. But the focus isn't making more money. The focus is serving more people and bringing more value. I hope that makes sense, guys. And that's all I got to say, man. Miss Lisa, you got any final words for the people?
One of my things I've always said is, just because we don't live in the same city, state, zip code, or even country code does not mean we can't network and increase our net worth together.
Your network.
Utilize what you have right in front of you.
Absolutely. Man, so it was definitely a pleasure, man. Thanks so much for tuning in. I know you take some time out of your day to be here. Obviously, it was a great conversation. This is what I do every now and then. I actually got another Blab. I'll be on at 8, but I'm a guest on something. So today was that day that I have to do a lot of stuff that I just like to do. It's not my day off, but it's the day where I actually fit in some of these things that I can actually do for other people, and I can bring more value to the marketplace. So I hope we've added value to your life today. I hope that you've taken something away with it. You can always reach out to me. You can DM me, Twitter me, whatever you got to do. Follow me on Facebook. That's what it is. But thanks so much for tuning in. This is ERGJ, your certified financial educator. And it takes a village. So let's build as we climb together. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'll talk to you soon.